This week, after E3, a bunch of indie developers got together and formed some sort of mechanized Voltron, and they began rampaging through the city of San Francisco. In other fake news, this is Nuclear Grenade.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nuclear Hand Grenade. I'm your host, Justin Land. With me, as always, is Havoc, aka Alex. And with us is our first guest, Taryn.
Yay! Yo. How's it going today, Taryn?
All right.
Pretty good. Chilling, tired, ready to talk about some yams, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some yams. Alrighty, so we could start off first with what games we've been playing this week. Have you played anything, Taryn?
I played a little bit of Rust. Just to say I did. I was looking forward to it for like years, and then I just didn't really give a shit by the time it came out, which kind of harkens back to the whole E3.
I'm a big 7 Days to Die and Ark player, and I've thought multiple times about dipping my toes into Rust. Have you played 7 Days to Die or Ark by chance?
Both. I was addicted to both for sure.
How do those?
Oh, you're a survivor gamer.
Yeah.
All right, we're very similar with that then. How does Rust kind of compare to those two games?
So no dinosaurs, which I think is a plus.
A plus.
Yeah, I mean it's cool, but then it just gets ridiculous because so you get the cool fucking level 5,000 dinosaurs, just stupid. It ruins like the player-on-player stuff. So it's more focused on that player-on-player community interaction, which I think is way more exciting, than dealing with zombies or any other NPC, really.
Interesting. So
you only do the multiplayer aspect of it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's NPCs that you go around to get loot from, but that's about it.
Now, if you wanted to play Rust solo or just like co-op with a couple of friends, is that possible, or is it like a PvP only game?
You can join up. I think there's, at least on PC it was organized, but there's duos, and then you can form clans and all that stuff, and then there's strictly solo servers where everybody's on their own. But I don't think there's any offline mode, like where you're just hanging out playing co-op. I don't think.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No baby modes.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. And the player base is absolutely ludicrous and evil, so you just got to be ready for that cutthroat.
Don't trust anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, expect teabags galore. I've seen some of the traps, and the traps are hilarious. Like permanently locked in to like little walls, traps that people have to like punch out, but it takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can get locked in like a jail cell and shit.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing. So, what'd you do this afternoon? Oh, I got hogtied and thrown in a cell and then made fun of and berated.
The life.
I got called gay a lot.
Let's see here. Well, I haven't played anything this week because I've been moving. I'm in the process of moving. My wife is a nurse, so it was kind of a silent agreement that I would do all the packing and everything. So I wasn't able to play everything, but I'll still cover the free Epic games of the week for this week. And I don't know, have you guys either played either Hell is Other Demons or Overcooked 2? Have you played either of those?
Nope.
No. Okay, well, Hell is Other Demons. And yes, that is the name. It's a very strange name. It doesn't make much sense. Hell is Other Demons. It's an action platformer shooter with roguelite elements. You explore a sprawling, handcrafted world full of demons, insanely over-the-top boss fights, and a heavy synthwave soundtrack. It's got very positive reviews from Steam, and it kind of looks like a Contra-style Super Nintendo game. So if you like...
Hell is Other Demons. Hell is Other Demons.
And then Overcooked 2, I think most people know what that is. It's like a co-op, action, multiplayer type of thing where you gotta procure different recipes and foods. within an allotted amount of time. I might be wrong about that. I've never played it, but from what I've seen, that's what it is. Highly regarded game, got really good reviews, and I think it's one of those games that like is really fun to play on the couch, you know, maybe on console rather than PC, but
yeah, maybe with the old kids.
Yeah, a good game to play with your kids.
Although I could see a couple of the boys getting together, dude, grabbing a couple of fucking
Shrooms.
You know, well, I was gonna say booze, but yeah, sure. Couple of shrooms, like what?
That doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah. I'd still take it too seriously though. I'm like, you guys suck. We're not friends anymore. So I played a couple games. So I played Parkosaurus, which is an awesome game where you run a zoo, but it's dinosaurs, and it's very cute and colorful and bright. It's very theme park kind of style, but I just love the colors. It's so vivid. And the dinosaur is really cute, and you can get little hats for them to wear.
Ooh.
And of course, what's better than a dinosaur in a hat?
Oh.
Yeah,
Nothing as long as it's not an arc.
Yeah. Well, that's true. They do have hats on dinosaurs in our, but these ones are cute. And it's just like a fun, chill management game. There's some downsides, like it's kind of in that old roller coaster tycoon style where you have this park and you have to get 3 stars, and then you're kind of done with that park, and then you kind of move on. And it looks like they've added a lot more this time I played since when I played like a year or two ago of the little adventures or missions. And they're all right, but I kind of like the style that's more like modern day Sim Cities, where you just kind of have one city and grow it. Or maybe the scenarios could use maybe a little more pep or spunk. But overall, it's a really fun game. It's really chill, and yeah, it's just cute as fuck, dude.
Well, it's got
it's just super.
overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam out of almost 2,000 reviews. So that's pretty good. It's $25 if you want to pick that up. Would you say that the depth of it is good, or is it kind of barneyed down a little bit for maybe younger players looking to get into that roller coaster tycoon style, Sim City style type of?
No.
Okay.
It's got depth. Not as much as like a number freak like me would like, but it's probably got more depth than the original Roller Coaster Tycoon, like 2 and 3. You can control like some of the things that your little stands sell and prices, and managing all the different types of employees. And then also one thing I did like is certain habitats have to be designed in certain ways to create enjoyment for the dinosaurs, to get them up to happiness to breed. And then you can also put multiple dinosaurs different in the same biome if they have similar wants and needs. And so there's quite a bit of depth there, which I really enjoy. But it does look like it's kiddie.
Okay.
Can you murder the park goers?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Launch them off a roller coaster.
There should be like a dino breakout thing, like where they just start munching on people. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. And then I played. So they're doing the Steam indie game thing this week, and so they have like hundreds of demos on there to download up until June 24th. And I played a couple. I played City of Gangsters, which was really cool. It's a turn-based gangster game where you kind of manage a gangster empire and slowly grow it, which is kind of unique. Like you have so many movements and actions that day, and then you go to the next week after that turn. And then a week will go by, and you started in the 1920s, and you have up until 1933, where the end of Prohibition, to have solidified your power and be rich enough to like not rely on the booze. And it's kind of cool. The city is huge. It's like the entire city of Chicago. semi-randomly populated with, other gangs and gangsters and stuff. But it has a lot of interesting ideas. Like you gain, say I do a couple of business deals with one shop near my place. Then I build up favor with them. I can spend my favor and be like, hey, will you introduce me to someone that also wants to buy booze or cigarettes or whatever? And so you kind of grow your network of people that you know and influence over that way, and you grow the blocks that you control. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of depth there. You can get once you start getting other members to your gang, you can set up routes that they'll take. So like, instead of me having to go back to my base, grab all the beer that I made there, and then sell it individually, and then buy the things that I need to make the beer, I can just get a guy, give him a truck, and then set all the routes. Like, go here, pick up the booze, sell it to all these places till you run out, deliver the money, pick up the booze, and create systems like that. There's systems with the cops where different precincts have different chiefs, and then you can figure out who can introduce you to the chief, become friends with them, pay them off to look the other way. Heat level, I don't know. I don't know if I've played a game quite like it, because it's got some similarities to the old game Gangsters and Gangsters 2, which are probably my favorite gangster mafia games ever. But those weren't turn-based like this is. So I don't know. It's very interesting. I could see there's some, like, not a lot of graphics. Some of it could take a little bit long. There might be pacing issues. I won't know until I actually jump, really into the full game. But so far, I really enjoyed it, and I think I'll have a lot of fun when it comes out. And then I played one more of the demos that I played was called The Immortal Mayor, which is a god game. You play some Chinese god, and then, you build up the town, and people worship you, and, they believe in you can use magics. There's a lot of text on the tech tree. It seems like a lot of powers, but like a lot of it is still in Chinese. And so I'm like, I don't know what this does, but we'll click on that. And the art style it's interesting because it's kind of got like that classic Chinese watercolor art style to it, but graphic style. It's not, as beautiful as like some games that use the watercolor style, but it's decent looking, and it could be a lot of fun. I won't know though until I can actually read what every skill and tech does. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for this week. So I guess we'll just move on to the discussions of E3 games we saw and liked. Taryn, you want to start us off with anything that you thought was interesting?
I would just my general impressions of E3, a lot of it just seemed like it was a ton of those games that everybody wanted 5 years ago, but now they're kind of it's yeah, it's exciting to get them, but it's we all forgot about it, kind of there's the Psychonauts, and then Left 4 Dead, which does sound kind of fun to play, and I don't know, I've been kind of missing co-op games or co-op shooters and stuff. Sounds like a good time. But what came out that was just dope? Did you see the Starfield trailer?
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious that the community they found some little scratch in the side of a plane or whatever. There's oh, this is the setting for Elder Scrolls. It's they could release a brand new IP, and everybody's worried about a little. It's oh.
Yeah, they froze it, and it was one frame of the video has a little screen in the corner of the ship that shows the landmass on the world. And yeah they were it's Tamriel, or I think the place where what was Elder Scrolls 2 set in, where the Red Guards are from. I think it's that
Hammerfell or
something. Yeah.
Iraq.
Yeah, so that I thought was funny, like internet detective nerds.
Yeah, they just can't get away from they're trying to hype up this new game, and everybody's still tripping on Elder Scrolls. It's
Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, I saw the logo. You played the logo.
They were like, it made me feel so happy because everybody was so dead set. It's like, it's going to be called Redfall. We tracked down the trademarks, and then they come out with this vampire game, like co-op shooter that's called Redfall. I just thought, I love that.
Yeah. A lot of vampires too this year. Vampires are hot.
Yeah, they are.
It took like a decade from us to get like before like people forgot about Twilight, and then gamers like, okay, vampires aren't gay anymore. Let's go.
Yeah. That Masquerade, or Vampire Bloodlines or something like that. The Masquerade. I'm excited for that one because it's set in Seattle, so that will be interesting.
Yeah, they didn't do. They didn't really show anything of it though, which is weird.
I think they showed like they broke it down to like a battle royale early access version. You know how they do it these days. Like,
but no, that's a different Masquerade game.
Yeah, but that's what they got. You know?
Yeah.
That's what came out.
It is interesting that we go like 15 years since the first Masquerade game, and then have we had a Vampire Masquerade game of any kind in 15 years? And then we get two. Wow. So that's pretty interesting. I do like the universe. I never actually played the a role-playing game because I played D&D and Star Wars like badass, and then all like the smelly goth nerds played like that, and I was like, no thanks, losers. I'd rather go fight dragons like a man. There's like 4 or 5 like vampire games, dude.
I might get some veneers.
Yeah, you do have a vampire-esque look. You know what it is? There's a little bit of a Vampire Diaries look to you.
Oh, I could see that. I could see that.
I got a ruffled shirt. I can just throw that on.
Nice, dude. One of those like weird circle things around the neck too that they used to wear. Yeah. Did you see anything else here that was sticking out to you?
Age of Empires 4. I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. It's been a long time since I've played an RTS, so I think Age of Empires 4 will have a nice niche in the catalog of games for people to choose from. It just kind of seems to be like a rare genre of game nowadays. Like it just kind of fell off the radar. Like, when's the last time you've played an RTS? Like Command and Conquer, StarCraft. I mean, they're both old.
Yeah. I went back and played Age of Empires remastered a few months ago, maybe a year ago, whenever that came out. But yeah, it's been a while. And I know they did that Age of Empires online, which failed horribly and wasn't that great. It probably would go over better now if they came out with it in kind of today's age on like a mobile platform. But yeah, at the time, people weren't having it, and I could see why.
Yeah, I tried playing StarCraft 2 recently, and I just could not get into it. I don't know why. Not that's a bad game, it just seems like it was just kind of burnt out, I guess, might be a way to put it. I don't know. Just nothing new.
Yeah. I mean, I love the single player of the StarCrafts, and all the DLCs for it were really cool. And I really, really enjoyed how they all played so differently. Like, even like the meta progression, teching up and leveling up outside of the combat was different to like each faction, and the way you did it. So I really like those games, but I'm just not competitive enough on that type of game to find any enjoyment out of it. Especially when you look at like the people that know what they're doing, and they're just like, tapping on the keyboard. Like, it's like, what? I don't know how to do anything without the mouse. Like, what are you doing?
Have either of you guys played any of the Mountain Blade series?
Yeah. Bannerlord, and the first one, and then Bannerlord most recently.
Yeah. I really like that style where it's like a hybrid. It's like RTS and like action, and you get a little like control. I think that was like probably the closest thing to an RTS I've like really sunk into lately.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like a Kingdom Under Fire, where you're like playing as a first-person guy on the battlefield, but then issuing commands to kind of control
I forgot
your
about that
troops.
game.
Dude, that game was awesome. The second
It
one
was.
came out when no one cared. It didn't look that good either. But yeah, I love that kind of mixture of Dynasty Warriors with RTS like control.
Yeah.
But you know, with the one thing about Bannerlord is it's all about being on the horse and just running in circles, arching people.
I just used the two-handed sword and just chopping heads, boy.
Yeah.
Like Wu-Tang.
Well, if you use the spear on the horse, then you get like the insta kills because you get the thrust of the horse going through their head.
Yes.
All that sweet piercing damage. Yeah, Age of Empires 4 I'm excited for. I believe that one is day one on Xbox Game Pass. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Is it? I thought it was just coming out for. Oh, actually, the publisher is Xbox Game Studios, and it says that the platform is Microsoft Windows, so it must be coming out on just PC and Xbox, from what I can see.
Yeah, I think it's a day one Game Pass game. I think almost every game they showed at the Xbox conference was day one. I think like 3 weren't out of the 30.
I don't know how you could play a game like that on a console. You know, I remember when they would come out with a Command and Conquer game on a console and you try to play, it's like, ugh, no way. Because like on PC you can like hold control and like tap 1 and you can select groups of units. And it just, you can't do that with a controller. Or at least not nearly as efficiently. But it'll be interesting to see.
I agree. Hopefully they don't take shortcuts to do it, because I know that was my problem with Halo Wars, where they made RTS kind of designed around a controller, and it played all right, but you just lose out on so many features that you have with the mouse and keyboard, all the shortcuts and all of that. But we'll see. Plus, you can do keyboard and mouse, I believe, on the consoles now, so. Yeah,
that's funny.
Not a big deal.
I've been thinking about it this whole time. And the last RTS game that I really, really enjoyed was Tiberian Sun. I still think that's one of the best RTS games of all time. And like, it doesn't ever get any credit. You know, whenever you ask a normal person, they'll say StarCraft. And that's kind of the obvious answer. But if, I don't know, if you played StarCraft and you played Tiberian Sun, I think a lot of people would come around and say, yeah, Tiberian Sun is the superior game. I really had a lot of fun with that. In fact, I might go back and play that again. And it's like 20 years old now.
I think they're doing like a Command and Conquer remaster. They just released one not too long ago.
It's only the first 2 games, though. So it's like the original Command and Conquer.
Well, and Red Alert. I know Red Alert was on it. So I thought about getting it just to play Red Alert 2 again.
Listen to that Hell March. Yeah, they redid the whole soundtrack too. They had Frank Pegliani, or what's his name?
Peglian.
Frank something. But yeah, he went through and remastered the whole soundtrack as well. I think it's $20 on Steam to get that.
I saw there's like one of the ones that I saw that I thought looked interesting was they are doing that Guardians of the Galaxy game, which I thought was interesting the way they did it, because they butchered the Marvel game, you know, like the Avengers game, and that game just kind of fucking blows. But to actually make a game that does seem single player focused, that seems like an action game but still carries some of the humor. And then what I thought was interesting about it was how you play as Star-Lord, but you're controlling or sending like commands to people in the middle of these hectic battles to have them do specials and team up moves, which I don't think I've seen a ton of.
A little bit of a Mass Effect vibe, a little bit, but without like the strategy side of it.
Yeah, it looks like
the kind of way he moved.
It looks like that's going to be coming out October 26th this year for all the major platforms. And that's being developed by Eidos Montreal. And I believe, is that being published by Square Enix, I think?
Yeah, they bought Eidos like
time
ago.
Okay.
I think Square Enix did the Avengers game too.
Yeah. It sucked.
Yeah, interesting decision to give something so American to a Japanese developer.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I guess Eidos is Canadian. Well,
It's Canadian?
French Canadians.
So,
Yeah, because they kept
Montreal.
their Eidos Montreal studio.
Square Enix is Japanese, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just think that's particular studio, which may be why they bought them, is to be like, oh, we need some more Western influence style games. So, let's keep these developers in those places. But yeah, I mean, it's one of these games where obviously it could just be garbage. It could really go either way with this one. So that's one that I thought was interesting, just because of the question marks, and then also the fact that like the gameplay seems not totally unique, but it looks like it does have some ideas that I don't necessarily haven't seen before or haven't seen very often. And then I think too with a game like that, and I think with the Guardians of the Galaxy in general, if you're playing this kind of narrative game, the writing's got to be on point. And from the trailers or the little bit of gameplay they showed, it seems like they captured the tone of the movies fairly well. So it'll just have to be a wait and see.
Yeah, typically developers don't have the best writers. So hopefully they hire some good writers, because I think one of the things that made Guardians of the Galaxy successful was the humor. And I don't think it's that easy to write humor for a movie, let alone a video game. Where like a lot of times in a video game, you'll be like, okay, I can tell they're trying to be funny, but it's just not. It just sounds scripted and awkward,
Like every joke in a Star Wars movie lately.
Yeah.
Or even like the Avengers humor is like so awful.
Yeah,
Like,
just real corny.
Since Guardians came out and was so well done and so funny, the Avengers started trying to do that in those movies, the Marvel movies, and it was just like, you suck. Like it's not the same tone. It doesn't work. These actors aren't selling this comedy. The only one that worked was Thor Ragnarok.
I was gonna say that with Jeff Goldblum. Dude, Jeff Goldblum is a fucking monster, dude. He is one of the funniest people I've ever seen in my entire life. I love Jeff Goldblum. He's like shooting rainbows out of his ship and stuff on his birthday. I gotta go back and rewatch that. That's a great movie.
That is a very good movie.
I'm not a huge comic Marvel guy, but like still Thor Ragnarok kind of sticks out to me as a good movie.
I used to be until all the movies, and now I'm like, oh, these guys suck. Even though the movies are good. Yeah, absolutely. Burnt out. Yeah. Especially just the Marvel ones.
Like whenever a superhero dies in a movie, I'm just like, yes, no more shit. And then they come out with like a prequel, and I'm like, oh, damn it.
Or they're like, we brought him back.
Iron Man's dead for good.
Well, we'll see. Once he gets needs some cash, in 10 years, then they're like, oh, Iron Man's back, but he's old. And he's like, I'm tired of this bullshit. And he's like flying around in this
Indiana Jones style.
He's got
crystal skull.
Yeah, actually, when his suit comes off, and you know how it comes out of the briefcase? He's like in a walker, and then the walker transforms into an Iron Man suit.
Nice.
And he flies to the front of a line in Starbucks or something. He's just fighting people who try to take advantage of elderly people on the phone by having them send money to Africa.
He uses all of his programming skills to tap into every phone call and pick out keywords to find scammers who are trying to scam the elderly.
To find the best AARP deals.
Yeah, that's right.
Old Iron Man's sick, dude.
Iron Old Man.
Yeah. Did either of you guys see the Babylon's Fall game? So this is a Platinum game, which Platinum are really well known for making. Usually they have a lot of weight to the combat, a lot of cool moves. It looks semi-generic, but we'll see. It also, I believe, is a It's like an action game, but it's also a what's it called when they're always online, like a game service game. We'll see how that goes. Could be fun. I mean, the only reason I think it's interesting at all is because Platinum is just so good at that genre of game, and so if the gameplay is really good, then you can get past a lot of the shitty monetization problems. It just seems to be that every time they put all those monetizations into a game, the game sucks. Yeah. So I don't know if that's like a core design philosophy of when you're building something to make money versus building a piece of art to create art, and then it happens to make you money because of the talent and skill.
You can feel the money grubbing fucking bastards tickling you through the game. Like,
yeah, you could feel the old men in like a dark lit room yelling ass to ass. Ass to ass.
Wow.
That's how I always imagine, like, they're like all wearing top hats and monocles and just screaming ass to ass at the developers as they program.
What movie is that from? Oh, that's gonna bother me.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yes, Requiem for a Dream. God, that was a dark movie.
That was like one of the most horrifying parts. It was like, oh shit, creeps you out, but also makes you horny.
Oh no, it just turned my stomach because she was like prostituting herself out to get drugs. Wasn't that what the deal was?
Yeah.
I'm sure Babylon's Fall, the Platinum Games loves that we brought that up right next to their ass to ass.
Oh, sorry, they're Japanese. Ass to ass. Oh, that was the worst Japanese. I was trying not to go too racist, and then I just didn't do an accent at all.
Doing a bad impression is not racist.
Yeah.
No.
You go over the top.
But Babylon's Fall, it's like a hack and slash RPG, action RPG. I'm getting like Monster Quest vibes from it.
Monster Hunter?
Monster Hunter vibes, thank you. Monster Quest.
Monster Quest.
And
Monster
64.
Quest is like the knockoff version. Oh, dude, you got Legos? Roblox, sorry. Monster Hunter? Oh, Monster Quest.
Pokemon?
Sorry.
Digimon.
Digimon, sorry.
Yeah, Digimon.
Digimon was dope.
I did like Digimon.
Are they ever gonna come out with another Digiman game?
Digimon. Digital monsters. Digimon are the champions. Yeah.
They did a 2-part RPG that came out. I have it, and I keep meaning to play it, but I haven't. But it came out a couple of years ago. And apparently, it's very well reviewed. So there's a big underground community of neckbeards that wear leather trench coats to school that love Digimon still.
Wow. The 90s will never die.
Yeah. Probably don't have a ton to say about this one, but Forza 5, day one coming out, Xbox Game Pass when it comes out. People that love racing games probably like this one. Set in Mexico. Apparently the largest open world they've done, but I mean, it seems like that's just what's happening with open worlds. As we get more technology, the worlds get bigger. So I don't know how much of a selling point that is, but it looks fun. I mean, the Forzas always drive really, really well, and people that dig them really fucking dig them. So I'm sure there's quite a few people excited for that. It looks like they actually have a lot of cool mini games and side games and stuff to do in it, like that are kind of goofy. Like I think I saw them like knocking over pins with the cars, like bowling pins, and
there may or may not be a like a hot pursuit style mode where you are just running away from cartel members trying to steal your car, and
yeah, dude. You just got like you're like a coyote with like a bunch of Mexican children in the back that you're trying to get to the border.
We got to get the water to the border fast.
Yeah. You get to the other side and it stops being cartel members chasing you, but like Trumpster Texans.
When you're being chased by the cartel, like the game triggers the audio. But then like when the Trump comes by, it's I'm proud to be an American. It's like, oh shit, here comes the Trumpsters. Like these massive
just-
jacked up trucks.
Awesome.
Just the immigrant song just starts playing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sure Forza loves us talking about all this with their game announcement.
Look, I read that the designer of Forza are all Trump supporters. I just read that. You know, it seems weird for a gaming studio to be one political faction that's not liberal, but
They only
Hey,
hire
look, it's-
Republicans.
Microsoft is doing, some new interesting ideas. How about okay, did you guys see the chaos? Chaos. I will kill chaos. I hate chaos. Strangers of Paradise, the Final Fantasy Dark Souls like game.
No, I didn't. I haven't seen that.
Oh,
Dude, in the trailer, without exaggeration, the guy says the word chaos 20 times. It's every other word. I don't know if the person editing the trailer did not speak English and therefore didn't understand that he was putting the same word over and over and over and over again, and that it's fucking hilarious. But it's like everyone's memeing it, dude. We're all out here memeing the chaos thing. It's like, I will make chaos for breakfast. What size are your pants? Chaos.
It's like the stereotypical 5-year-old boy gamer alias, Chaos, Reaper. But I guess I can't say much because my name is Havoc. It's pretty much the same thing.
You are one of like 50,000 Havocs.
Yeah. And I did have an account where my name was Reaper at one point as well.
That's why I always choose unique names like Bilbo T. Baggins.
Well, like when I first started playing games, like I played like Morrowind, and then I got into Counter-Strike version 1.6 and then Counter-Strike Source. So I kind of was brought up with that mentality of like aggressive, aggression gameplay.
Well, you're kind of a bro gamer too.
A bro gamer.
What about you, Taryn? What are the most cringe names you've used as a gamer tag?
I think I pretty much have had the same one my whole life. It's just Lemonhead with X's on the other side.
Oh, that's not bad.
I was able to get like just Lemonhead at one point, but then I put the X's on it just because my Xbox gamer tag had that, and I was hoping that someone would be like, "Oh, hey, you're that person." I've gotten recognized a few times just because I shit on people.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Cuisine Royale?
No.
No.
I was like, it's not a very popular game, so it's easy to become infamous. It was just like the people are like hated me so much they were making memes, and it was pretty fun.
You made a
It was
name for
wild
yourself
ride.
in Cuisine Royale?
And Cuisine Royale of all things to put your time into.
Do you throw like spaghetti meatballs at people and tacos?
I think the food part was just like the level 1 armor. It's kind of it's like a PUBG almost, but it's like pots and pans. But then it's
Okay.
like World War II guns and cars, and then you eat food to get your health back. That's about it. And there's like voodoo witchcraft bullshit. It's just a stupid ass game, and I was like, dope.
My most cringy gamer tag was chaotic sorrow.
Oh, that's bad, dude.
It's so bad.
Ooh.
It sounds like a emo band, which is probably where I modeled it because it was like early 2000s. Was like an emo band. We're chaotic sorrow, and we're here to make you cry.
Yeah, so sad. Oh.
My daddy never loved me.
Headshot, sniper, wolf, smoke killer.
Yeah.
Yellow swag 420, 360 no scope.
Yeah.
With their area code in it.
Hell yeah. It's always the birthday.
Back in the day in Counter-Strike, what you could do is you could spray paint on the walls, like whatever image you wanted. And whenever I was the last person to get a kill, you know how the camera, like everybody sees through your eyes, I would spray tag the body of the person I last killed, and it was Steve Urkel like this. And I would say in the microphone, "Did I do that?" It would piss people off so much. I Steve Urkeled people all the time. That was good days.
I still want Steve Urkel's cool machine, dude.
Mm.
If only I could go into a machine and come out cool.
Yeah, cool. Urkel was fatty for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that I mean, for one, a Final Fantasy Dark Souls like game, kind of a cool idea. Although I will admit, even though I absolutely adore Dark Souls and play every single one, and always enjoyed them, a lot of the Dark Souls like games that aren't Dark Souls, I don't fucking like. Can't play them. Even if they're well done, like Surge, it's just something that lacks. Like, to me, it's more than just the hardcore challenging gameplay. It's the atmosphere and the buildup and the tension and the mystery they create in those games that no one else really has the ability to do that well. It's very few and far between that you can get a game that is just seeping with that kind of mystery and, you know, almost like a beautiful confusion or something.
Yeah, the
Also
broken storytelling that you have to figure out how it all connects, and then you feel, you know, it's kind of fulfilling.
Yeah, and none of it necessarily has any real meaning, but it's opaque enough that people can kind of put anything they want into there and then argue about it online.
Yeah, yeah. Did you see the Elden Ring and all that?
Yeah, I mean, people are like freaking out about it, and I'm excited to play it, but it looks like an a Dark Souls game.
Well, I think it's intended to be the spiritual successor to Dark Souls.
Well, I think I recently just read that it's actually a sequel to Dark Souls 1.
That's the George R. Martin, the Game of Thrones pedophile guy.
He's a pedophile?
You know, I wouldn't put it past him.
You can assume.
If you got a room full of toys and you're an old, big, chubby man with a beard and some glasses, you know, I don't know.
He looks like a type of guy that yells ass to ass.
I said it. It's true. Get his laptop. We'll find out together.
These are 100% facts.
I mean, why else hasn't he finished his like $1 billion series?
He's too busy diddling children.
Exactly. You got
Making Elder Rings.
A twist, and the children are his grandchildren because, you know, incest in his world is pretty big, you know.
Oh god.
I blame him for the rise of the incest on Pornhub. If you look when it started blowing up, dude, it was kind of around the time Game of Thrones came out.
Yeah,
and then now, like,
autistic children everywhere.
Like, you can't even watch porn without it being incest now, because even though it's not real, they take porno videos and it'll be like, I'm a delivery man, but then in the title they're like, brother and sister are boning. What?
That's so weird. Maybe that's never done anything for me, and I was like, maybe it's just because I hate my brother and sister. I don't know. Maybe is that like thing for most people that like their
sibling one, but I love the stepmom one.
Oh, that makes sense. Or
like I'm a 34-year-old man. Yeah, babysitter. But like I'm a 34-year-old man now, and so like a lot of the times these mothers that are being fucked are younger than I am, but I'm still like, ooh, I'm just a teenage boy. Are you gonna show me how vaginas work? Ooh.
You know, I
come so hard.
I like the old ladies, which is takes us back to our original topic, the Elden Ring.
I like that transition. That was a fatty transition.
Yeah, Elden. But so, anyways, what I was saying was like I heard people, and gamer retards do this all the time, but it was like, it's showing something you've never shown before, and you're like, there's a guy with a crown and multiple arms. Maybe I haven't seen them together, but I've seen the guy with the crown in the game, and I've seen the guys with multiple arms in the Dark Souls game. So I mean, it's going to be awesome. The open world aspect is definitely new.
That looks cool.
Looks cool. Horse. I love horses. You know, I want to ride a horse. So like, we'll see how that works out, how the fighting on that is. But at the same time,
did Sekiro have horses in it?
No. Sekiro was very up and down, structured game.
Oh yeah, you were like zipping around, right?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, that was a very fun game too. But yeah, it looks awesome. What'd you think about it?
I thought it looked cool. I think it's time for a refresh. I mean, I liked I liked the first and second one, and the third one was just kind of like too consistent with the setting. You know, I like where it chops up, and here's like the snowy place, and then the sandy place, and the this and that. You know, like some biomes, like some variability there. And then, but the third one just seemed like it was all just a dreary, dilapidated Gothic city, like constantly Gothic. It just got kind of tiresome. But that's why I was excited for this, because hopefully they'll like get a little more loose and creative with it.
Yeah, I mean, there were parts later on in the game that, like, they had that like kind of sky city that was very pretty and like white pillars and platforms. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. Like, especially the first one had really different styles going on. And I'd say Sekiro, I think, did a really good job of kind of mixing up the areas you're in and kind of some of the artistic liberties taken with the structures and especially the colors. Like something about the Dark Souls where whenever they get out to an area where they're actually using color and brightness to juxtapose the dreariness and like decay of the world. I really love that.
I think the game that did that the best, I would say, is probably The Witcher 3, if I had to vote. Like, they had the perfect balance of darkness to beautiful colors and stuff like that, and just kind of how they transitioned between the two with the sunsets and like how they did the cinema scenes. So like it just played right into the time of day that you were already in. So if you played the game again, you could see the cinema scenes during the daytime or the nighttime, during sunset, during a storm, you know, and it added a unique feel to the environment. I think they just did it really well. A masterclass in environmental attributes.
Yeah, too bad they forgot how to fucking do that.
In Cyberpunk? Yeah, Cyberpunk was just dark for the most part, all the way around.
Yeah. Or bright in the desert, but yeah.
It was just the wrong time for it, I think. I think they should have waited.
Yeah.
They should have just gave it a couple years, but everybody was clamoring for it, the hype, and then their pockets were drying up, and they wanted that good old money.
Well, it was like a decade, too. They were already working on it, so...
But I would love to see something Witcher related. I mean, that's not like a fucking jank ass card game.
Yeah, I feel like they have to do like a Witcher 4, like a big comeback.
Could you imagine the pressure that they would feel, you know, making a game like that after The Witcher 3, and then after Cyberpunk? It's like Bethesda with Elder Scrolls 6 after Fallout 76. It's like, do we trust you anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, they still are releasing, like, I think there's expansion for it at E3 of some sort, an update, and I was just like, why? What are you trying to prove here? It's over. Just give up on it. We all want something else.
Yeah. None of us ever wanted this.
Yeah.
No one wanted Fallout 76, and yet they tried cramming it down our throats.
You know, I always did kind of fantasize about like a co-op experience in like Elder Scrolls or Fallout, you know, so maybe they were trying to go that route, but you know, I don't think the MMO route was the best idea. I think co-op would have been good enough, you know, and then they wouldn't have had to make so many sacrifices. And same with the Elder Scrolls Online, you know, I played that for maybe 100 hours before it's just like, okay, this is enough of that. You know, but if it were a co-op experience where it was just an Elder Scrolls game that you could play with a friend, you know, and don't make it any more complicated than that. Like, that's kind of what I think most gamers were kind of hoping for.
With the Bethesda RPGs, it's just like there's like this sense of permanence. Like you can put a can on top of a car and you can come back, you know, at the end of the game, the can's still sitting there. Maybe it's knocked over because something smacked it or whatever, but That I think that's what the MMOs are missing. It's like this: the world's not the world. It's just this phased, like instant,
Yeah.
like reality that doesn't feel like you're actually there. So the immersion is just gone, which is what everybody loves about those games.
Well, then I think you kind of missed the point, hey-ho. Like, the fundamental design for Bethesda games is for people that don't have friends.
Like me. I like that. I like being able just to play a single player game and just shut the world out. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they take so much time, too. Like, I think anytime you're making something that's co-op, you have to remove a lot of the stuff that builds the outer believability of the world out of the game, you know? Because it's like, you can't have these books that are 10 pages long that show some obscure backstory in a co-op game. It's like, hey, buddy, what are you doing? I can't go to the next area. Sorry, dude, I'm a slow reader. And there's about 5 books here, so give me a second. Also, I want to collect all of the cheese wheels in the game, so hold on. You know, so you're like, I think there's just a clash between what makes those games great and what makes a fun multiplayer game. But maybe they'll figure it out in the future.
MMOs are like pain in the ass in general.
It has to be a specific type of MMO for me to give a shit at all. Like the theme park MMOs, like WoW and stuff. I'm just like, no thanks. It's like a game but bad. That's what's funny about them. Like, yeah, but they're so big. It's like, yeah, and boring as fuck.
Yeah, they only really get to be exciting and at the very upper tier, at the very bleeding edge of the game, which takes a bazillion hours to get to. And...
Yeah, this game's awesome. After you've played for 300 hours and somehow know 20 other people that are also as good, as far along as you, to be able to do this one boss that's fun.
Yeah, well, for a lot of people, those kind of games become like work. You know, Blaze got like that with what was with that Final Fantasy that was online?
Final Fantasy
14. Yeah, he got like thousands of hours into that, and he kind of had a name for himself. And like you were saying, he had like 15, 20 friends that they would go and do boss fights with. And it'd be like, hey, Blaze, you want to go hang out? He'd be like, oh no, I got to meet up with everybody at 3:00. And he didn't even sound like he wanted to. It's like, why are you even doing this, man?
Yeah, he still plays it too.
Really?
I saw him. I think he might be playing it as we speak.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to be at the top of some hierarchy, whatever hierarchy that might be.
Yeah, well, that's what was cool about the original, like when WoW first came out. We've discussed it a little bit, but when things mattered and it took a while, like it took effort to get things done, that respectability came along with it, which also helped create and foster this community of players where even if you don't know the guy, it's like, oh, I've heard that name. Oh, like he's the first kill on Dragla Bakabador or whatever, you know, the boss name is. So Outer Worlds 2, I mean, they showed essentially nothing and then made fun of themselves for not showing anything, which is funny. But Outer Worlds 2, it's being made. We all, I guess, suspected it. We were...
Did you play the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I still need to go back and do that. I just wasn't gonna pay $60 to do it. I didn't. It didn't seem like.
I think it's on Game Pass now, so it's worth it that way. I certainly never paid full price for it either. It's not very long. It's a little more hollow than those type of games tend to be, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because, you know, you can go do your chunks, get the story, do the side quests, and not be like, okay, that's 90 hours of my life. You know, you can probably knock out most of it, you know, in 30 hours. And then, so not a ton to say about that. They didn't show much, but it's in the works. Another part 2, this one was kind of a surprise to me, was Plague's Tale 2. The first one was kind of a sleeper hit, kind of came out of nowhere and kind of blew everyone away. You know, kind of a haunting, kind of beautiful story, interesting characters, interesting kind of world dynamics.
Isn't Sean Bean in that?
We'll see. Yeah, I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. That's what you remember.
Oh
him
yeah,
from.
no.
He's Boromir to me, But I do.
To me,
remember
he'll
that.
always be Alec Trevelyan.
He's a big James Bond
No, I'm
nerd.
not.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's just because the N64 game, GoldenEye. Seriously.
I just played that the other week, and I went through my favorite level, and I blew through it so fast, and I still remembered
Control,
it. It made me feel
Facility,
good.
Dam, Runway,
It was the one on the boat.
Frigate.
Jesus.
I remember when you could get the Game Shark and you could get the walk through doors cheat turned on, and then in the multiplayer levels you could actually go into all the closed off rooms. Oh man, I just love that game. A lot of people did.
I remember Big Head
Big Head
mode.
mode, yeah. Headshot Cities.
Yeah, dude. So again, if my memory serves correctly, I believe it was just a graphics trailer, no actual gameplay footage on that. It's probably a ways out, but it's cool to see that being made. I'm sure with the success of the first game, they'll be able to pour a little more resources into it. And the first one was very, very good looking for, a single A or double A studio making it, not quite full AAA level.
I remember seeing a bit about that. It's a very dark, story-driven game, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. And then we got
Final Fantasy 16.
who knows what they're doing with fucking Final Fantasy?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the hack and slash idea of that. I don't know. Like after FF, what was it, 12? I think with the Gambit system, I think they started going downhill. I really liked how they did the Gambit system, where you could kind of automate how your different players would react in different situations and stuff. I thought that was an awesome idea, and I haven't seen it implemented in any other RPG since then, including any other Final Fantasy game. What did you guys think about the FF7 remake? Did you guys play that?
I actually just played it recently, and I got through maybe 6 hours of it, and I just gave up. It didn't hit the spot. There was a couple parts I was like, oh, that's that and that's that, but then I was just like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. I think I would rather have had them just literally remake the original game with better graphics, like the same thing. Like that would have been for me, but
a lot of the old.
Yeah, I don't know. It's my favorite game. The original one is. So I've been holding off. I don't have a PlayStation anyways, but I'm kind of waiting until they make all of them. I don't want to play just Midgar and then wait 4 years to then play the second part, to then wait 5 years to play the third. I'm not interested in that. So I'll wait. To me, it actually looks good. I like some of the liberties they've taken, fleshing out some characters, just from videos and stuff I've seen. However, I'm gonna wait for the complete collection to come out, on PlayStation 7 or whatever the fuck it is by that time.
Yeah. I went into the FF7 remake blind. I didn't know what liberties they took or anything like that. And the whole time I was playing it, I was like, I can't wait until this opens up into a more open world environment. And turns out the whole game is linear. And that really kind of bummed me out. So hopefully when they come out with part 2, if they come out with part 2, they open it up like in the original when you finally got a Midgar.
Big world map and everything.
Yeah.
You're just walking around.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how they would do it specifically, but it'd just be nice to have it be open a bit more.
You could do it like Final Fantasy 15 probably.
Yeah, something like that.
Do it to where you're more on the ground level with the monsters and stuff, but still do the continents. Kind of like
Yuffie
that. I don't know.
Forest.
Well, she's just I guess they're doing DLC or something with her, but she's fleshed out apparently in that game. Or in this, in the E3 they were intersession or intermission. Looks like it's a DLC that fleshes out Yuffie.
A little spin-off.
Yeah, well, I think it's part of the game, but it's just more focused on kind of fleshing her out. So I'm not quite sure, but we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I have to wait. I can't just do one chunk at a time every 5 years. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous idea to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're like, okay, so the one Final Fantasy that everyone likes, and still memorable today, it's the only one we can actually bleed money out of. So let's split it up and make it as long as possible and just extract as much money from people's nostalgia as we can.
That's weird. I actually was an FF8 person. I played FF8 before I played FF7. So, and I have super fond memories of Final Fantasy 8. And like, I actually, one of the skills I got as a gamer early on was I can I can do like a fast twitch thing with my finger, because you had to press the button really fast to boost the summon. You remember that? Yeah, and like at first, like, you know, you pressed like that, and then there was a controller where like you could turn on auto mode and it would press the button, but it wasn't nearly as fast as you could press it if you could make your arm convulse. So I got that gamer ability from FF8. So whenever there's like a mini game where you have to press a button really fast, like, I don't think anybody's gonna beat me at that, thanks to FF8.
This is why his wife hasn't divorced him yet. So you can just fucking flick that pussy. You can flick that bean.
Look at the flick of
Yeah,
the
1000 RPM.
Oh, another one I saw, which kind of looked interesting. This one kind of, a lot of people are looking at from the indie games, was called Replaced. And it looks like a little side-scroller action platformer, maybe even a Metroidvania style, but it's got some very good-looking pixel art. It's very gritty. It kind of looks like kind of dark, but the combat looked pretty meaty, and the world seems very interesting. Maybe a sort of post-cyberpunk style world. You know, after like some sort of big downfall of civilizations or something. But it seems interesting. Looked really cool. Looked really like quick and satisfying in the combat. So that one kind of surprised a lot of people too.
Bad trip.
You know, you learn the most about yourself from bad trips. So maybe not all bad.
I don't think I've ever had a bad trip.
Well, I have, and I remember it to this day. Decade and a half later.
Did you go into it with like bad thoughts in your head already? Or did the bad thoughts come
No.
once you were?
Well, they came because I was like tripping with sober people. Or drunk people. I was the only one tripping.
Oh, yeah.
It was a whole thing. Like, I got in my head, like they were all talking, like they were playing like drinking games, like bouncing the quarter into the shot glass or whatever, that game. And the way they were doing it, and the way the coin was falling, it was like boom, and it sounded like it was creating like a music, like on purpose. And then the way they were talking was like how like people talk on TV, not in real life. You know?
Yeah.
Where they're like, wait, you know, there's no over talking or anything. And then it got in my head that they're not real, that they're demons. And then I'm actually in hell, reliving this moment over and over and over again. And that they're just like fucking with me. And yeah, it's a whole thing.
The worst part for any trip for me is just coming down off of it. Like, I just want to stay tripping forever. And when you start coming down off of it, I get this like gross feeling like, ugh, back to reality. I haven't tripped in a long time though. I think the last time I did any drug like that was probably, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Yeah. I think last time Taryn was over, I got wasted and ate a shit ton of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Which solved my hangover, actually. Because I should have, by all accounts, been super hungover in the morning. But I woke up not very hungover.
Must have been the psilocybin.
Yeah, dude. It was like sponging the alcohol out of me. Just a couple more little indies to mention. Well, real quick, actually, it's Halo Infinite, making the multiplayer free. Showed a little bit of the campaign. Looks like a Halo game. I really like Halo games, so hopefully this is successful and gets people back into it. However, you know, I don't know how much they showed there that really blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting something different or changing the art style back to almost the original, where some things were really like edgy and like I don't know, straight lines, and then they had the alien stuff that had all these curves and shapes to them. And I really like the art style of the original 3, and then they after I think maybe it was the 343 change that everything's just blocky and jagged, and I think that's the only thing that bothers me. It looks fun though. Maybe it looks like they went back a little bit. Looks like Halo 4 maybe, kind of.
Yeah, it does still have like the reach stuff. It seems like some powers, which I thought was when the game started going downhill. Personally, I know people like that shit. I did not. I like the grenades, the guns, and then sniper melee killing motherfuckers. I don't really like shields and jetpacks. I don't think it adds to the game.
Vehicles?
I think vehicles are awesome.
You like vehicles?
But they were always there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just that I think what a lot of people don't understand when they're designing these games, because it's cool, we got to do something new. We got to add stuff. We got to add this. And what's cooler than a robot with a machine gun on its head, and then a machine gun on top of the machine gun. And it's like, sometimes simplicity is what's fun. Sometimes you don't need every single thing all at once, because it can be distracting. It can take away from the core enjoyment of the gameplay. So that's kind of my feeling on it. We'll see. It looked like they had a grappling hook, which I could see would be fun in a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Especially Halo style. But
I remember The World Is Not Enough on the N64 when that came out. They had like a grappling hook. And it looks like on the new Battlefield, they got like some kind of grappling hook type of thing where you can grappling hook and then swing over into different areas. So I think that will be fun aspect to it. I like that idea.
Looks like a chaotic mess.
Did you guys?
But then,
sorry,
what?
I was gonna say.
No,
did either of you guys see any type of like new Stardew Valley type of game coming out this E3?
Yeah, I think there was a couple actually. There's just so many indie games that I kind of got lost in them all.
Like a space one, right?
Yeah, there's a one where you're on Mars. Like it's called Lonely Outpost, I think.
Yeah.
Lonely Outpost. I'm gonna look that up right now because like I've just been so surprised because that was such a huge success, and like really Stardew Valley is just kind of like a skeleton version of what a game like that could be. So I'm just kind of surprised that more developers haven't taken a shot at making a game like that and expanding on it.
I don't know. Stardew Valley is one of my favorite games, but I was always a Harvest Moon kid. The first, I think Harvest Moon 64 was my first Harvest Moon, and ever since then I've been in love with them. Yeah,
I really like the Game Boy one.
Yeah, they had quite a few really good ones, especially the Game Boy Advance. Had one like Mineral Town, and like Tale of Two Islands or something like that.
I remember seeing those games in EGM magazine and like Nintendo Power, and I always would see it and be like, oh, it looks like so much fun. I hope I can get that someday. But of course, when you're that young, you don't have just money to just go buy whatever you want. So you get the magazine in every month or every week, and it's like, oh,
you just drool.
Yeah,
just drool.
So Harvest Moon was one of those games for me where I saw it in the magazine and it always looked so awesome, but I could never afford it.
Yeah. Dude, I'm surprised. Daddy, please, Daddy, buy me the farming game, please. Daddy, I want the farming game.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
But yeah, I'll just run through a couple of these real quick.
Okay.
Trash Sailors, co-op raft game. You're like, it looks like you're on a little raft with your buddies, and you're like trying to catch stuff, and you're moving throughout this world. What caught my eye about it was it looks like a picture pop-up game, like almost like someone made everything out of paper and colorful paper, and made it look like that, and made it like that.
Yeah, the art style looks really cool on that.
Yeah. Serial Cleaners. This is a part 2 to a game that's called Serial Cleaner, where it's a stealth game, but like, say the mob murders someone, and you gotta like sneak around as the cops are investigating and like clean up all the blood and hide the bodies. So I'm not huge into those type of games, stealth games. I'm very picky about them, but
Metal Gear Solid.
I could see that being fun.
Yeah.
Fire Girl. We got Fire Girl, which is a side-scrolling firefighting platformer. You know, looks kind of like you level up and you battle fire.
She's hot.
Yeah, dude.
But
Yeah, dude. She puts the fire in my loins. We got Planet of Luna, which is like a puzzle adventure story game. Very, very beautiful looking. Cool art style. People are really interested in that one. Sable, which people are raving about, but every time I see it, I don't understand what they like about it. Because it seems like you just drive around.
That game's been out for a while, though, hasn't it?
I don't think so.
I remember seeing it like a year or two ago. Like,
it's been in development for a long time. It's definitely one of the indie games that people have been aware of for a while.
Yeah, it looks lame.
Yeah, but people seem to really love it. So I don't know. I don't see any gameplay besides exploration. Just takes a little more than that for me. So yeah, I mean that's all the ones I saw or felt like talking about. I mean there were so many indie games though. Like that's one thing I thought. Like people are hating on this E3, but I thought as long as you don't give a shit about big titles, like this E3 was actually really awesome because there are a ton of really cool small companies making really interesting, fun-looking games. Especially if you're like a nerd that loves management and tycoon type games like I do.
Mm-hmm. Same here. Yeah, and I got the same. I didn't sit down and watch all 1,000 hours of this year's E3 because I'd rather shoot myself in the fucking head. But but like from the games that I saw, a lot of the indie games do look like they'd be more worthwhile than a lot of the games trying harder to be more AAA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, spending more money on graphics rather than concerning themselves about gameplay and depth. You know.
Yeah, and just making a fun game. Like,
yeah. I mean, maybe COVID was, a good thing for, small development teams. I mean, I saw one game, I forgot what it was called, but the guy is just working on it by himself. And it was like, that must have been due to just sitting at home all day,
Smoking weed, drinking coffee. Just having a great time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Stardew Valley. I mean, that was one guy.
Yeah, Concerned Ape.
Just love those Harvest Moon games. Yeah.
Before we go, I do want to mention, I don't know if people know this or not, but we are on Spotify and other podcast apps. We're still working on getting iTunes set up. They're a little bit more picky about getting our RSS feed accepted in there, but we'll be on iTunes here soon as well. So for all 5 of you, if you want to listen to us somewhere else, that's where we'll be.
Final thoughts on E3 though, Taryn?
Gay.
Gay.
No, it just another year of post-pandemic shit. I had a feeling that it was going to be a drought for the most part. I think come next year we're going to have a lot more to fawn over and get the hype train rolling. It was kind of middle of the road E3. I wasn't say it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like amazing, But it was still nice.
And nothing mind blowing. Hope.
Yeah, I hope you're right about that, Taryn. I think what's happened this past couple of years, with these major companies really disappointing their fan bases. CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, and then Bethesda with Fallout 76. And then there's this conference E3 where it's like, oh, here's all the big games coming out. I think a lot of gamers have kind of lost their trust in these AAA titles and the companies trying to make them. And I think right now we're kind of seeing the rise of indie developers and indie games where it's just these, small groups of people that are doing it because they love to do it. They don't have the corporate overlords, making calls that, they don't actually have to go in there and implement it into the game like the actual developers have to. And I think a lot of people are disappointed with this E3 a lot because of that. And I do think that there's an aspect to it where I think there is a breaking point where gamers will become kind of spoiled. I mean, if these games are coming out right now, 10 years ago, it would be, I think people would be a lot more excited. But there's just been so many good games that have come out in the past that, like, how do you keep doing better and better and better and better and better? There's a breaking point, and I think we've kind of reached that, and so I just think gamers have kind of gotten spoiled a little bit, and that's one of the reasons why I think indie games are going to kind of rise up a little bit here for a while. It's not so much about the AAA huge titles with the expensive licenses and the crazy graphics and all this money being dumped behind the game. It's more of just the love put into the game and the depth. So that's just the kind of feel I got from this.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I actually think Avengers' massive failure as a game, both financially and critically, is a good thing. I think that I think that can lead to companies being like, oh shit, maybe we do need to have programmers that have a little bit of soul, and style going into these games, a little uniqueness, because a lot of this stuff is just, it's hollow, it's emotionless, it lacks all art. It's just garbage. But luckily, it's never been better for gaming because we've never had more indie games with more refreshing new ideas, new takes than ever before. It's kind of like music, at least in my opinion. Music has always been bad on the radio, but now it's like worse than it's ever been on like public commercial places, and yet there's never been more artists making more unique, awesome stuff if you just are able to peel off the layer of the top fancy produced stuff and start diving into local scenes and
underground
stuff. So absolutely loving it. I want to thank you, Taryn, for being here, our first guest.
Yay!
Gonna have you back.
You got it.
Thanks, Taryn.
Like, subscribe, do all that crap that I hate to say. Thanks for joining us at Nuclear Grenade, and y'all have a wonderful week.
Godspeed.